Hey guys, and welcome back to another YouTube video. In this video we're going through the Carlton vs Richmond game and what a game it actually was. I was watching this game over after the first quarter over the Geelong Port game because this game was, I knew it was a game for those, I don't know whether Richmond or Carlton were favoured in the tipping. I knew it was like a 70-30 split, and I thought that Richmond were actually the underdogs in the tipping for this, but I could be wrong. And so yeah, when I went Richmond and they were up by like 10 points or whatever, I thought they were coasting, and then they were suddenly behind, and then they couldn't do anything in the second and third quarter. So then watching the last quarter, I thought, oh, I was thinking how many positions am I going to drop in the tipping comp. And luckily Richmond were able to get that goal with about 8 minutes to go. Then they sealed it with another goal, and then they kicked, I think, a third goal in the last quarter, and then a goal after the siren for Carlton really didn't do any damage. The damage had been done, and I think I got this game pretty spot on. I'll obviously go through it when I go through the tipping video on like Thursday or whatever. But yeah, just a really good tip for me. Anyway, so before we get into the video, remember to like and subscribe, turn the notification bell on so you know when I upload, and let's get into the video. So as you can see, Good here, 103. I just want to check with Good. What's the go with her? Good 791k. She's gone 63, 67, 79, 103. So that's an interesting one. Schultz, I think, is fine, honestly. A 62 is fine. We know that Moffat is going to massively maul the West Coast in an hour or so time. But, yeah, so it should be fine, to be honest. So Good is just coming into question now with Moody playing more of a forward role. Can you go for Good over like Schultz or something like that, as Good will be able to dominate games? I mean, it was a high hit out game, to be honest with you. A lot of stoppages, a lot of tackles. But can you get Good in? Is she going to be able to score 85 plus basically a game? Then you have Hill here, 86, and you can sort of see with Carlton they don't really have that next big scorer, to be honest with you. 86, 84, 78, 76, 69, 64. Yeah, just not really the best, to be honest. And yeah, so Hill, Shearer, Vesio, Skipper, Moody, Peterson, Mackay, and then you come all the way down here, and Cordner just couldn't catch a break. 6 touches, 1 mark, 2 tackles, wasn't even getting the kick-outs or anything. She's lost. I don't know if she even had the kick-outs to start with, just couldn't get touches on the ball, and you'll just see here, if we go fancy quarter by quarter, 10, 6, 4, nothing. I mean, if she scored an 8 or 9, it would have been a little bit better, because that would have been like a 32, 33, but yeah, just got nothing out of this game, and that really, really sucked, as she was doing all right beforehand. I'm just thankful that Gabby Pound didn't run away with it, and you can see actually Ortlep did nothing in the second half, which is quite funny. Actually, was having a decent game, and she would have, with one of my other trade options, would have been the one that I did. But yeah, she just did nothing. Did Cordner, and that sucks. She's a must trade out now, as she's gonna drop. I would think she dropped. What did she drop last game? She went up 78k with a 50, so I wouldn't be surprised if she honestly drops the 50, 70k or something like that next game, and that'll drop her down to 700k. Priest will need 200k difference. So yeah, we'll see what I can do, whether it be Phillips up to Phillips to Goldsworthy, or whether it be Phillips to Hoare. That'll be basically the decision I think that I'll have to make, depending on the price differences. But yeah, Cordner 24 just absolutely sucks. Moody, Pearson, Mackay, Goss, Anthony's 48. So Anthony's just returned back to normal. So I got out of her. Anthony had I think an all right time, to be honest with you. I mean, she went 70 or something like that. I got out of her after a 69, I think, and then she went 115k up in the next game, and then she's probably going to drop down a little bit more. So I mean, it's not the worst time that I got out of her at. And I mean, if you look at it, Nanscorn, if you actually look at Nanscorn over, yeah, she is, Nanscorn here, she went up 154k, so I mean, I made 39k doing it that way. so that wasn't the worst actually now looking at it. But yeah, just a really bad Carlton fantasy scoring effort, to be honest. No one really outstanding and a couple just shockers. Then we move over to Richmond. Egan 112 was absolutely nuts. She just got away to an absolute flyer, and a midfielder 73. She's just had a couple of weak games and then come off absolutely huge in this game. 32, 33, 24, 23. Conti had a huge third quarter. Brennan was huge again as well, so I'm sort of surprised about Brennan, to be honest with you. I mean, she's a forward, but she's come up huge in the last couple games. 60, 43, 85, 95. I don't think I'd pick her, but still, I think some people might go for that, which I think is a red flag, given that I don't think she's had any CBAs or anything. Yeah, no CBAs and majority forward, so yeah, I wouldn't be going for that necessarily. And that doesn't show her 95 this week, which I think will be a similar output. Seymour 89 did all right in the ruck. Dempsey Sheeran got off to a flyer and then fell away in the last. Yeah, you can see here 53 going into the last, so you would have expected sort of a 70, 75 from her there. Hoskin, Jones, McDonald, Reed, Lynch, Greaser, Cox, Shevlin, Kelly, Graham. None of these girls really matter too much. And yeah, so it's a short video, this one, because you sort of come up with two teams that don't really score heavily fantasy-wise, two teams that don't really have any big fantasy scorers in itself, like a Marinoff, a Bowers, a Garner, a Riddell, and those sort of Robottom type scorers. There's no real rookies that are scoring well at the moment for them. I mean, as in they're gaining cash quickly. I mean, like we've seen Anthony and Corden already go through that cash gen process in a matter of 3 or 4 rounds. It's really weird to see them sort of in 2 or 3 scores just go up and sort of max out almost. And it's sort of a new process that I think it will take me a season to sort of understand, I guess. So it may not be the best year this year for me, AFL Women's fantasy wise, but I think next year when I sort of understand the players, etc., it should be a lot better, and I understand the I mean, there's a lot of learnings this year. But, yeah, and Richmond, for their point, they don't really have that big scorer. Like, they have Conti as their marquee midfielder, and she doesn't really tackle as much, and Egan doesn't really get the ball as much. She did have a really big game, but she didn't get the ball as much in the first 3, so I don't really trust her. And then you've got sort of Seymour as a big ruckman, but other ruckmen sort of are just more dominant. So Richmond don't really have, like Carlton, someone that you can really go to and sort of be that reliable on-field scorer. Anyway, that is the video there, and I guess I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye, guys.